Welcome to Frequency Matters, the RF and Microwave Update. I'm Pat Hindle, and I'm here with my co-host Gary Lerude. In this episode, we thought we'd continue our coverage of the January radar and antennas issue. As a reminder, the cover feature outlines the technical approach and benefits of software-defined antennas. It shows how they can dynamically track signals in mobile applications and keep the link optimized throughout. So it's a very good story, and we covered the technical features last time, so I thought we'd cover products this time. What do we have for product features?
So we have two product features. The first one, CST Studio Suite, has updated with their 2019 edition. Since they're now part of Dassault Systems, they've also done some integration with Dassault software, including the 3D Experience platform. And then we have a new product family from Searlinks in their oven-controlled crystal oscillator family. The feature that this offers is its lower power consumption and also smaller size and weight than the typical oven-controlled crystal oscillator. So those are our product features. How about tech briefs?
So for tech briefs, we had 40 gigahertz RF probes from Pasternak, and those are good for signal integrity and RF applications. We also had a 4.2 to 5 gigahertz waveguide isolator with less than a 10th dB insertion loss from Exceed Microwave. And finally, we had an RF SoC system on module from Pentec, and that's good for swap constrained environments. So lots going on with products there. I think we have a great issue.
Yeah.
So turning to the news, we haven't talked much about mergers and acquisitions in a while.
True.
But there were a couple to kick off the year. ETL Systems announced that they have acquired Atlantic Microwave Limited, so that's a SATCOM components company. I think it's going to be really good for Atlantic because they were a smaller player, and this will really give them resources to expand their markets.
Right.
What did you see?
So one of the interesting things that I saw is the RF Energy Alliance, which was actually kicked off at the European Microwave Show in 2014, has disbanded as of the end of last year. And they recommended that their members join the International Microwave Power Institute, or IMPI, which is actually about 53 years old. They didn't really say why that they disbanded, but my suspicion is that IMPI has a lot more corporate members that are really at the end application. So companies like ConAgra, Nestle, Campbell Soups, Tyson Foods. And I think one of the problems that the RF Energy Alliance had in terms of trying to insert solid state technology into some of these new markets is they didn't have the pull from the end user. So I think the IMPI organization will give them that pull. Of course, a lot of their applications historically have been tube-based. So I think there'll be some definition now, maybe clear definition of where solid state fits. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for everybody involved.
Yeah.
And so turning to the events, the Consumer Electronics Show took place in the second week in January. It's always fun to see what gadgets come out of that event. And so I thought Gary and I would pick our top 3 from the Consumer Electronics Show and do a quick preview of those.
So from my standpoint, one of the interesting things, of course, is the smart home. And we've talked about VR before. They have introduced a smart sensor. This is not a new product, but they were featuring it and the applications at the Consumer Electronics Show. This covers basically a sensor for the home, and it's able to distinguish the locations of people in the room, what their position is, and if there's sudden movement. And it does it non-invasively, so it's not like a camera that's looking at somebody who may be undressed. But it can tell if somebody's lying on the floor, it can tell if somebody's breathing, and so I think it's a great tool that could be used for keeping senior citizens living independently in their homes longer, where people can monitor that they're okay on a day-to-day basis, even hourly if that's required. Turning to autonomous vehicles and driving technology, Mercedes had their Urbanetic autonomous vehicle platform. This was really interesting. They had several on display at CES, and it's a modular approach. First of all, it's electric vehicle powered. It's got a modular approach that they can configure it to deliver freight in some cases, or it can deliver passengers, carry passengers around. And so that's very futuristic looking and quite a novel concept. Of course, it's going to be a few years before we see that. A little bit closer to home, a little bit closer near time, Qualcomm was featuring their CV2X technology, which C standing for cellular vehicle to everything technology. And I think we'll see that implemented a lot sooner, where cars will talk to each other, talk to the infrastructure using the cellular technology as opposed to the old DSRC band. This will allow traffic management at a global level, as well as cars understanding where there may be traffic jams or slowdowns on the highway. So it should have a big impact on safety. How about you? What caught your attention at CES?
So my three favorite products from the CES 2019 were the D-Link 5G new radio router, which is one of the first gateways available for 5G broadband networks and delivers up to 40 times faster speed than fixed broadband in the US.
Wow.
And plus it's good at providing broadband service for underserved areas or rural areas that are only served by DSL. My second was PowerCast wireless charging grips for the Nintendo Switch. And this works when it's placed within 2 feet of the PowerSpot RF transmitter. The grips use Bluetooth low energy for intelligent wireless charging, and it only uses the powering when it's needed.
Oh, interesting.
And my last product was Royole showcased their first foldable smartphone, which was unveiled last October, a few days before the Samsung prototype. And it's a foldable display that's 7.8 inches when opened and 5 inches when closed. So it's kind of opening a new era into the foldable phones, which will be interesting. I can't keep one screen from getting scratched and cracked. I don't know what I'm going to do with two.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see how well the foldable technology takes off.
Yeah, it's a little bit immature. I think it's going to take another iteration before it hits the market.
Yeah.
And so in February, we'll be doing a preview of Mobile World Congress, so everybody keep an eye out for that episode.
Right. And in terms of events, registration for EDICon China is now open. We encourage you to do that. That show will be happening April 1st through 3rd in Beijing, and you can register at ediconchina.com. That wraps it up for this episode. We want to thank you for watching, and we want to thank our sponsor, MACOM, for making this show possible. The next time you need RF components or photonic components, check out MACOM, because they're your partner from RF to Light.